On Friday, September 16th, the Dragons hosted their crosstown rivals, the Oxford Wildcats, in a battle for the 00 trophy. The Dragons claimed the trophy in 2015 in convincing fashion. Could they hang on to it for the second year in a row? The game also happened to be the second annual Pink Out game. Not only did fans, cheerleaders, and band members wear pink in support of breast cancer awareness, but both teams sported specially made jerseys bearing the names of loved ones and friends whose lives had been touched by cancer. Let's pick up the action with just under 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Oxford quarterback Parker Fleming's pass is intercepted by Joe Slayton, who returns it to the Wildcats' 30-yard line. Facing a 2nd and 13 on the 33, junior Johnny Marshall is in at quarterback for the Dragons. He hits Max Hornifer for a 30-yard gain. Following a Dragons penalty, Lake Orion has a 1st and goal on the 8. Marshall hands off to Hornifer, who goes in for the score. The Dragons are on the board first. In the second quarter, the Wildcats drive to the Dragons' 6-yard line. Fleming hands off to number 12, Ethan Williams, who stumbles into the end zone. The extra point was good. The game is tied 7-7. With just over 7 minutes left in the second quarter, the Dragons are facing a 2nd and 13 on their own 43. Marshall hits Hornifer, who is tackled on the 16 for a 41-yard gain. On the next play, Danny White takes it into the end zone to give Lake Orion a 14-7 lead. Later in the second, Fleming hands off to Ethan Williams, who goes 39 yards to the Dragons' 23-yard line. A personal foul on the Dragons puts the ball on the 8-yard line. 2 plays later, Williams plunges into the end zone to tie the score at 14-all. With just over 4 minutes left in the first half, Marshall hits Pierce Burke for a 21-yard gain. Then on 2nd and 4, Marshall to Burke again, who's taken down on the 10-yard line. On a sneaky reverse, it's Marshall to White to Hornifer, who goes 10 yards in for the score. Lake Orion 21, Oxford 14. Before the half can come to an end, Hornifer, playing on defense, picks off Fleming and returns it to the 8-yard line, setting up a Parker-blessed field goal. Lake Orion is up by 10 at the half. Let's go to the third. The Dragons are facing a 3rd and 11 on the Wildcats' 38. Marshall finds a wide-open Max Hornifer to increase their lead, 31-14. Later, the Wildcats turn the ball over on downs. With 5 minutes left in the third, the Dragons are on the Wildcats' 15-yard line. Hornifer takes the handoff and goes the distance. The Dragons are up by 24 points in what looks like a blowout, but not so fast. Early in the fourth quarter, the Wildcats find themselves on the Dragons' 7-yard line. With nothing to lose, the Wildcats go for it on 4th and 5. Fleming fakes the handoff, rolls left, dodges a tackle, and goes into the end zone for the touchdown. The gap narrows. Lake Orion 38, Oxford 21. Later in the fourth, the Wildcats once again find themselves in a 4th and goal situation. Ethan Williams takes the handoff and finds the end zone. Oxford cuts the lead down to 10 points. Now here's where things get interesting. Following the touchdown, Oxford lines up for the kickoff. Kicker Matthew Melnicki drops the ball into a gap. It's a live ball, people. Number 85, Dallas Winkleman, scoops it up, giving the Wildcats possession at the Dragons' 25-yard line. On the very next play, Fleming buys time, rolls right, and hits Josh Allen, who's tackled at the 2-yard line. 1 play later, Trenton Meyer goes in for the touchdown to pull the Wildcats to within 3 points after being down by 24 at the start of the fourth quarter, and there's still over 8 minutes left on the clock. On the Dragons' next possession, Marshall is facing a 3rd and 8 on his own 39. He hits Pierce Burke for a first down in Wildcats territory. On the next play, Dylan Frank takes the handoff and goes 43 yards for a Dragons touchdown. Incredible. The Dragons once again extend the lead to 10 points. On Oxford's next possession, the Dragons defense comes up big, stopping the Wildcats on a 4th down play and taking over on downs on the 38. A few plays later, the Dragons run the quick reverse again. Hornifer goes 18 yards into the end zone to seal the deal and leads the band in the Lake Orion fight song. The final, Lake Orion 52, Oxford 35. The Dragons maintain possession of the 00 trophy for another year. We caught up with Coach Chris Bell after the game.
Just a game of big plays. Oxford's good. We knew at times that we possibly could struggle to stop them. They're just good. They're good at what they do, but we felt we could score some points, and we just had to, once we got the lead, we just had to keep going. And and it was big plays on both sides of the ball. I mean, both teams moved the ball, but we got some turnovers, we got some stops when we needed to, gave ourselves a little cushion, got a little nervous there at the end. But when they closed it to 3, or when they cut it down, the big character drive to answer with a score gave us, and they had a couple more on. So I'm so proud of our kids. They fought, they played. We weren't perfect, but I'm so proud of how hard they played.
Following the game, the players removed their custom jerseys and presented them to the friends and family of those whose lives were touched by cancer in one way or another. It was an emotional moment to conclude an exciting Friday night under the lights. In Lake Orion, this is Joe Johnson reporting for ONTV News.